You clicked for the truth about blind shipments. Here it is. Federal agents just pulled 1,585 pounds of crystal meth out of 2 refrigerated trucks, hidden under crates of blackberries, worth $22.5 million. That's enough to supply entire regional cities. But the trucks were only the start. The same network left cash, guns, and even fentanyl sitting in a neighborhood home. How did a commercial produce route become a cartel pipeline through Texas into Georgia? And how did a pre-dawn task force crack it open in one morning? Stay with me. We'll follow the route, the rivalry, and the simultaneous raids. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. 2 reefers idled before dawn like any other farm haul. Agents closed in anyway. Why move before sunrise? Because the route they watched wasn't a guess. It was a mapped corridor that starts south of the border, jumps at Texas crossing, and rides east on freight lanes that reward speed and low profiles. Produce rolls before daylight to hit market clocks. Narcotics ride that same clock, hiding inside a schedule no one questions. The entry path threads border ports to interstate spines that carry perishables. Trucks slide from warehouses in northern Mexico to Texas cold storage, then push through distribution hubs toward Georgia. These aren't side roads. They're commercial arteries built for volume. Places where a reefer trailer is invisible because there are thousands more just like it. Paperwork matches the lane. Temperature controls match the freight. Time windows match expectations at wholesalers. That's why agents didn't wait for a traffic stop hours later. They hit when the loads clustered and handlers moved. Blind shipments make that choice necessary. The driver can be a contract hauler who saw a sealed trailer, scanned a bill of lading, and started his route. If he doesn't know, he can't name a boss, a warehouse, or a dispatcher. Interrogations yield nothing but hours lost. So the case isn't built on a confession at a roadside shoulder. It's built on weeks of tracking cell pings, telematics pings, and repeated waypoints that show who meets a truck, who leaves ahead of it, and which addresses always light up before and after certain deliveries. Concealment only works when it looks boring. Under stacked blackberry crates, bricks sat in tight rows, shrink-wrapped to uniform dimensions. Cold storage held temps in the mid-30s to keep berries fresh and reduce odor spread. Bills of lading were clean. Fruit description, weight brackets that matched pallet counts, and pickup and drop lines tied to legitimate shippers. A quick glance said produce. Only a deeper look. Unusual pallet density, an extra layer of dunnage, a floor that sounded dead when tapped. Hinted at a false deck. Cartel logistics lean on standardization. Large production sites press meth into consistent blocks that fit pallets without bulging. Lots are coded by batch so handlers can mix and match without opening anything. Convoys stagger departure to look like normal farm shipments heading to regional markets before dawn. A truck here, another 30 minutes behind, each hitting the way station during typical produce surges. If one gets delayed, another still makes the window, and warehouse staff don't question a reefer arriving when every other reefer does. In Hall County, a K-9 walked the line, paused, and alerted at the cargo area. That flips routine into a red flag, but a dog hit alone doesn't win a federal case. You still need cause to cut seals, a warrant to open everything, and evidence that links loads to handlers, not just to a single driver in a seat. Agents held the line, synced with surveillance units watching the sister truck and the houses that kept popping up on their movement map. The numbers matter because they tell you the network size. 1,585 pounds, with a street value that reaches into the tens of millions, can supply whole cities, not neighborhoods. That volume pushes prices down, floods treatment centers, and pressures local distributors to move faster and riskier. Seizures this large in the Southeast don't happen weekly. When they do, they point to upstream producers with the capacity and discipline to feed multiple states and keep quality consistent across batches. The payoff came from timing. Weeks of surveillance set a clock. Units watched movements tighten before dawn, then made coordinated stops. A false floor gave way under fruit crates, and rows of bricks filled the cavity. If the trucks were the body, The Atlanta house was the beating heart. Cash, guns, and something far deadlier than meth. Why does a quiet house hold 21 kilograms of fentanyl, nearly $380,000 in cash, 4 guns, and fruit crates in the foyer? Because the produce wasn't produce anymore. It was a front-end mask for a distribution node that kept the trucks moving and the money sorted while everyone else slept. Pre-dawn on November 21st, 2 doors went down at the same minute. Custer Avenue in Atlanta and a site tied to Macfor Road, under a task force umbrella. DEA led narcotics workups, FBI handled comms exploitation, GBI anchored state warrants, and Hall County deputies locked down perimeter rolls and transport. When you hit 2 connected addresses at once, you don't give phones time to light up or shuttles time to disappear. Teams staged, made entry, cleared rooms, and split duties. One crew secured people and weapons, another froze the scene, while evidence techs started the grind. Photos, logs, chain of custody seals, then the slow peel of pallets and crates. The rivalries running behind those pallets matter. Sinaloa has long-standing lanes across the South, but CJNG keeps pressing into the same corridors. When both fish the same waters, loads surge, brokers hedge, and muscle follows the money. That kind of competition doesn't just raise the risk of street shootings. It scrambles routing choices, pushes blind shipments deeper into legitimate freight, and makes timing everything. Miss a window and you lose not just a sale, but the lane that sale kept open. Inside the Custer address, the numbers told the roll. Agents logged 419 kilograms of methamphetamine and 21 kilograms of fentanyl. A money counter still plugged in, a vacuum sealer with rolls nearby, and 4 firearms, 2 Glock 19s and 2 others, staged for quick access. That mix signals a mid-tier staging and processing site. Not a super lab, not a street apartment. A throughput house where shipments arrive, get split, rewrapped, labeled for the next leg, and paired with cash runs headed the opposite direction. The blackberries served as camouflage, not a commodity. Fentanyl changed the safety plan on contact. Microgram exposure can kill, so agents worked in respiratory protection, nitrile gloves, and kept naloxone on the line. Mixed drug houses raise cross-contamination risks. A sealer used for meth the night before can aerosolize fentanyl residue the next morning. That's why hazmat protocols follow the evidence team. Wet methods for wipe downs, absorbent pads under cutting tables, and sealed containers for anything that touched powder. The operators tied to this address weren't casual couriers. They held assigned roles and kept calls short. Mid-level coordinators manage calendars across states, rotate rental cars, and pass off trucks that were loaded somewhere else, often by people they never meet. Blind shipping helps them stay clean. Drivers haul sealed freight with legit bills. Warehouse hands move pallets that read as produce. If someone gets stopped, the chain above them stays untouched, unless you time the warrants. And timing forced the network to show its seams. Hours after the raids, agents shadowed a Mexican national linked to the trucks. Movement logs and residence hits lined up with the staging house activity. He was detained without bond based on flight risk and cartel ties, adding a human link to the freight that paperwork alone can't give you.